Coach Javier, nice to meet you again in Dubai. Is it fair to say that it's your second home now?
It is 100% definitely fair to say that Dubai, Abu Dhabi, UAE is my second home, and it's also fair to say that I consider Mohammed bin Zayed, the president of UAE, my president. So it's fair to say that, yes, 100%.
Well, talking about the president, yesterday Donald Trump called Khabib his favorite fighter. Have you seen this, and what were your emotions like?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm not surprised. Donald Trump has spoken always highly about Khabib and what a great fighter he thinks. And also Donald Trump, from the very beginning, back when the UFC just started and they would get into the Trump Towers, their hotels, and Donald Trump was one of the few people that took a chance on them back in the day. So Donald Trump's MMA fan. So not surprising that he would choose the Eagle, because we all choose the Eagle. I choose the Eagle.
From what I understand, the whole team was in San Jose. At what point are you going to join them?
I'm joining them tomorrow. I was here yesterday for a special function with the Lieutenant General of Immigration, and it was a very important meeting for me. So I did that. I asked Khabib if I can stay around one day extra to do that. He said yes, because Usman and everybody's going to be, suffering from jet lag, and we've been working with them here anyways. So, it's a couple of days away from me. It's not going to make or break them. They're very dedicated, disciplined fighters. They know what they need to do. And I come in last 3 weeks and tune them up, and Khabib will be with me also.
Has Umar joined them? Because he seemed like limping after the fight.
I haven't been able to speak to Umar since, because once the fight was over, we got shifted away, and the next thing you know, normally we take a picture together with the UFC staff, the photographer, and this time around it didn't happen. Coach, we got to go. Boom! A lot of the fighters had to take off. Their air flights were scheduled on a certain time, and I was whisked one way, whisked another way. Next thing you know, I'm on my way back at the hotel, and so I'm thinking, man, I want to get some sleep. So I went to sleep. We said goodbyes, and then I'll see you guys soon, and that was pretty much it. So I didn't really get to speak to Umar since. I'm imagining he might be limping a little, but not too bad. I would think today's probably better, by far.
Were you happy with his performance against Cory?
I was extremely happy with his performance. The first round was a little different for him because Cory was super aggressive, and I told Umar to move. I wanted him to move a lot at the very beginning. I wanted to see what Cory had, and then once I saw that Umar had the speed factor, I told Umar in the second round that slow down. You don't have to move around as much anymore. Stay at the distance, keep him at bay, but just basically use the takedowns, use the strikes, but don't move around as much. And that's what he did. So the first round was super close, but I gave it to Umar. I gave Umar 5-0 for me. And of course I'm biased because, I think my guy's always, if it's a close fight, I'm going to go with my guy, but I'm not the judge.
Talking about the first round, very surprised with Cory's takedown defense, and did it make you think about reconsidering maybe we shouldn't go for takedowns anymore?
When Cory first stuffed a couple takedowns, it didn't surprise me that he could do that. That's because they know that Umar was going to do that. They knew he was going to come in a single. They were practicing for it. They did their research, but what they didn't know is how good Umar was. Now they know, and I knew that wasn't going to work in the long run because so you stopped a couple takedowns, but now you got to deal with the stand-up, and the more comfortable Umar got, you saw who was the more efficient, well-rounded striker, more effective striker. It was Umar. And as the rounds went, according to what I was reading, that they expected they were going to come on strong, and who came on strong at the end? Umar, because Umar gained more confidence. Because Khabib and I, we worked from the very beginning during training camp. We would tell him, "This is the championship rounds. You got to be strong mentally. You got to." And so I would be in with Umar in training. I would tell him, "Okay, put your head up. Nice deep breath. Don't ever show him any weaknesses. You show him any weakness, he's going to come on you like a shark. So don't show him any weakness." So we were preparing him for a 5-round, basically tough fight. And he overcame. He did exactly what we wanted. And when you watch the fight, you'll see who it was that was the most effective guy in the end. It was Umar. Most effective. He outstruck him throughout the whole fight. And at the end, he was the stronger of the two. And Cory had a great camp. He had a great camp. He's a great fighter. He's definitely the most well-rounded fighter we've ever fought. Not the most dangerous. I felt the last guy was the most dangerous. But Cory's the most experienced, well-rounded. And now I think hopefully we take his number 2 spot.
Umar looked really good in the 5-round fight. It was the first 5-round fight in his entire career. Is it fair to say that he's a more of a complete fighter comparing to Khabib at this age?
Well, it's 100% fair to say. As a matter of fact, I'm saying it. At this stage, he's a more complete fighter than Khabib. But what Khabib had above anybody else was the ground that nobody had. Still to this day, there's nobody that matches Khabib's ground. And anybody can say what they want to say. I've seen this guy my whole life as a coach from when he was in his second fight in the UFC. And no, I've never seen anybody with the ground that Khabib has. No one. The closest to him is like Islam is the closest, but even Islam was a little short. A different kind of style, but Khabib's suffocating style of grappling is second to none. And his overall, everything what Khabib does, how he acts as a human being outside the ring is one of the biggest reasons why I consider him the greatest of all time. Because not only in the cage but out the cage, he's a great example of someone you should idolize. Not idolize, because nobody should be idolized, but he should be somebody you should admire.
Khabib looked very emotional in Umar's corner during the fight. Is that what he's always like in the corner?
Well, yeah. This time around, normally I tell these guys, chill. I go like this, bringing them down, come down. But this time around, I let them be who they wanted to be. So he got emotional. Usman got emotional. Shamil got. They all were going a little crazy. But I didn't pay attention to them. I was just focused on what I was looking in front of me, and I was doing as much as I can to get Umar on track, to make sure that Cory wouldn't get the advantage, and he never did. Every time Cory was putting himself in a position where he could potentially get ahead of us, I would say something, or Khabib would say something, or Shamil or Usman would say something that would change the trajectory of the fight. So all four corners were extraordinary in how we accomplished our goal to be able to get Umar to that victory, and he looked fantastic.
Are we going to see Khabib in Usman's corner in his fight in September when he's going to defend his title in Bellator?
I would hope we're going to see him in the corner. He's going to be training him with me. He has been training him with me. And a lot of misconception people have had. Khabib never ever said he would stop training the fighters. What he always had said to me, he told me first that he was going to step away from cornering. He didn't know if he was going to come back. I was pleading with him that please at least consider coming back for a few of the guys, because I really, really need you. If not, I can handle it, but I would prefer you there because you had a huge motivation. And, as far as cornering, but as far as coaching, no, he's never stopped coaching the guys. That's never happened. He's always coached them, but he did spend more time with his family, and that's what he said he was going to do. And now he brings his son to the training camp with him, and it's such a joy to watch him and his son and how he trains his son. It reminds me probably how his father trained him. It's an emotional type thing for me to watch that, to see how great of a father he was, because he came from that. He came from a great father that was his father, so for him to do that, it was really nice. And also to see him take over the reins like his father did, very strict, very disciplinary. I love that, and I add my little things into for him, but he's mostly his father as far as how he coaches the guys. He has a few things from me, but the majority of what he does from what he got from his father.
It seemed, Joe, that he was a little bit more relaxed when he was cornering Islam comparing to Umar.
I think that the fact that this meant so much to him, because Khabib and Umar are on parallel with each other as far as when they started, and at this same age. This was at Khabib's age of 28 years of age when he fought Edwin Barboza. So this was Khabib's coming up situation. Same as Umar. This is his first true test according to everybody. So there was a lot of similarities between both of them. They came in almost at the same time. They got injured almost. There's a lot of similarities between these two guys. That's why I nicknamed Umar Young Eagle, because there's a lot of things that they both do that are very similar. They're both super mentally tough. Oh my gosh. So tough mentally, both of them.
Yeah, because you are in the corner, and sometimes UFC releases the footage from the corner. That's the only thing that we can judge on. And that's actually another thing I want to ask you about the footage that UFC released a few weeks ago. It was footage from a Khabib and Conor McGregor fight, where you could hear everything that the guys were saying in between the rounds, and what Khabib was saying to Conor, what Conor was saying to Khabib. And why do you think UFC released it so many years after they fight? Normally they release things to build up something. That's what people are wondering, what are they trying to build right now with this footage?
I believe the UFC is a genius at what they do. I believe that they're building the young eagle situation because Khabib is in the corner and they showed the corner. Why would you show the corners if you're not trying to build that as a corner? So no, UFC they go with the algorithm. They know what they're doing, and I believe that's what they're doing. They're building up Khabib as the next great coach, and he's on track to being the next great coach, if not the greatest coach. So I believe the UFC is playing that narrative because that's a smart move on their part, because when you have a superstar, arguably to me the greatest superstar, you want to use him as much as possible. So you can't use him as a fighter, so you might as well use him as a corner. So yeah, show his fighting, but show the corner situation too, because that's the role he's taken. He's not going to come back to fight. So anybody that thinks that, oh, they're doing that because the UFC, they know they're going to work a deal for him to fight. No, I have information that I won't share, but of a super high situation with him, with a really high profile individual, and it was declined without any hesitation. So Khabib is not interested in fighting anyone, any sport, doesn't matter. He doesn't want to fight. He's not going to fight. He gave a promise to his mother. And if he does come out, it's between him and his mother. That's not me. If he says, Coach, I'm going to fight, okay, let's go. But if you're asking me if he should fight, I say no, stay and coach with me. I prefer that. I mean, I love having, such a great corner with me and such a great human being, and he loves his fighters, and with all the passion he has, and it's father's plan, and I love that.
But also what I meant is Islam Makhachev was also part of this story, and him saying, just look at Conor, he's not moving anymore. So I was thinking in the back of my head, maybe they're trying to build a fight for Islam.
That's a possibility with Islam and Conor, but let's face it, Conor dictates who he fights. I mean, anybody that thinks otherwise, the UFC doesn't dictate who Conor fights. Conor dictates who he fights. UFC may offer, but if Conor says no, it's no. Hey, look, come on. Let's be fair with each other. I don't like him, but he's the biggest draw in the business. The records show it, and I would love to watch him get beat. So, yeah, I'm going to pay. If he fights Islam for sure, I'll be in the corner. But Conor is a huge draw. He's the guy that people want to see. Either they're going to love to watch him or they're going to love to watch him get beat. And that's the thing. So the UFC is extremely smart because that's a viable fight. I mean, come on. Khabib and Conor was the third most generated pay-per-view of all time. If not third, it was fourth. So if you can imagine if they can build the Islam and Conor, who knows if it'll surpass, Khabib and Conor. But we know one thing, it'll do over 1 million. It can very well go into the 2 million mark. So yes, the UFC would be extremely smart to do that. I would do it. If I'm a promoter, it's about making money. This is entertainment first. This is not sport first. This is entertainment first. So, when you understand that, like let's just face it, like Tony Ferguson, he's lost 8 in a row. Why are they still having him there? He's lost 8 in a row. In any real legit sport, a guy that's lost this 8 in a row, he's not going to be put in the limelight situation. But why? Because Tony's still a star. He's still a star whether you like it or not. You like him or you don't like him or you're rooting for him, he's a star. Now, he's lost 8 in a row. Let's see what they're going to do with him now or what he wants to do. But stars are stars.
But going back to Islam and his next fight, what fight would you personally rather see next for Islam? We got not that many options really. Conor, as you mentioned, is one of the possibilities, and Arman, Gamrot, welterweight fight probably is not happening.
The welterweight fight won't happen. That would have been my first choice, but the next choice is the obvious, Arman. He has to get rid of Arman. That's what I feel the fans are going to want to see, and I want to prove that he's pound for pound number one. But for Islam, I mean, he's already beat Arman. So for him, I would think Max Holloway would be an interesting fight for him. Gamrot also, but let's see what the UFC offers. I know this. Islam has never refused an opponent the UFC offered him. He may refuse the date for whatever particular reason, like now it's his ligament injury that he's got in his hand, so he's not fighting when they would want him to fight because he's got to take care of his body first. So that's priority. You have to take care of your body and come in 100%. That's your job as a fighter. The UFC's job is to throw the best fights that the promotion can generate the most money, most interest. So they're doing their job, and Islam has to do his job to make sure he's 100% ready to go when that time presents itself. So when that time comes, they're going to offer who the opponent is, and I'm thinking it's going to be Tsarukyan, but it could be anybody.
But if Islam is going to stay lightweight and fight Arman, that would give him a possibility to become a record holder, because if he beats Arman, he's going to have the most defenses in the history of the lightweight.
Yes, so that's a good reason to fight Arman or anybody else. Then you get the most defenses in the lightweight history, and I can't believe it's 3 is the is the record. You know, so that's just amazing how it turns over. You know, so many fighters have won titles there, but they never kept it more than 3 title defenses. So Islam will break a record, and I want to see him go down as one of the greatest of all time, and I believe he's on track to do that. So him defending that lightweight title is on track for that. Then after that, let's see what happens. Maybe Islam gains weight and goes 185. I mean, he'd have to gain weight, obviously, because that's a little big for him. But you never know. He's that good. I mean, pound for pound, number 1 for a reason.
So you mentioned that Islam has a few injuries to take care of. If UFC will put an interim title fight, who would you see fighting for this interim title?
Well, first of all, for me, interim titles are baloney. You know, when a fighter is injured, he's not injured for like a whole year. I mean, I get it. If Islam was going to be out for a whole year, then do an interim title. But you're only out for a couple months or 2 months at a time. Why would you do an interim title when the champion can come out and do that? Like Tom Aspinall with John Jones. I didn't agree with that. Why interim now? Tom Aspinall he's the champ. He's not the champ. John Jones is the champ. You know, you're the interim champ. What does that mean? Really, I'm just being honest. What does that mean? It's nothing. Interim titles mean nothing to me. Nothing. But interim title, in one aspect, it means you're next in line. So, and I guess from where it positions you, yes. But what the title means, you're not the champ. You're still number 1 contender. So that's what I look at interim titles. You're number 1 contender.
Talking about title fights, Umar repeatedly stated that he wants to fight for the title next. He wants to fight with the winner of the fight between Merab and O'Malley. First of all, who do you see as the winner of this fight? Who would you give higher chances to become the next champion?
Well, that fight, it's a really tough one to call. And then Umar, this is how they got Cory to accept the fight with Umar, where it made it interesting for him, is if he beat Umar, he would be mandatory number 1 contender for the title. So that was the incentive Cory needed to come and fight Umar. Other than that, Cory, why would he want to fight Umar? He's number 12, number 11 in ranking. That's stupid for Cory. So Cory had to have something in there. So they figure if they're going to give it to Cory, the title, then that meant that, hey, if Umar wins, Umar should get the title. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm expecting the UFC is going to do the right thing, because the most marketable guy next for the title is Umar. So under that situation, Umar's going to fight the winner of O'Malley and Merab. And of course, I want the biggest bang for the buck for my guys, bet most attention, and it's O'Malley. It's O'Malley at the present time. O'Malley's the biggest draw, and him and Umar would be very interesting, But hey, Merab, I really love Merab too. I love the way he fights. I love the great cardio that he has, and how he's going to continue to go to takedown after takedown after takedown, because that's what he's going to have to do to O'Malley. Can Merab continue that pace, or can O'Malley catch him with a good shot? All of that's possible. So I don't know who I'm favoring as far as the actual who I think, professionally who I think could win. But who I want to win, obviously, is O'Malley, because it's the biggest fight. But that's not who I think could win. I don't know. I'd have to really analyze it and go detail for detail where the strengths are. But obviously, everybody knows stand-up O'Malley. Takedown defense, is O'Malley's takedown defense good enough? I don't know. And then Merab, can he take those shots that are going to come at him? Because they're coming, And that's my question. Can he absorb the kind of shots that he's going to get hit with? Or can he take O'Malley down right away and control him? That's possible too. It's a fight that we want to see. I am definitely interested, and I hope I'm around, because I'd like to see it live. But let's see. I don't know where I'm going to be at that particular stage. I know Umar will be there, so that just means what? If Umar's going to be there, that means they're going to bring him in the cage against the winner. So that I am anticipating to happen. Who it is, if you're asking me my choice, I say O'Malley for the bigger bang.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley also mentioned the similarity of their fight to Khabib and Conor. The guy from Dagestan in Papaha, Khabib's cousin, against an Irish guy, even though he's from America, but
He's still Irish.
he's still Irish. You know.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is I've yet to see, O'Malley attack country, religion, or family, and so I'm all game for what O'Malley does. I'm good with what he does because he's attacking the fighter. Do that. Attack the fighter. That's what you're supposed to do. Weaken him mentally if you can. Go ahead, but leave the family alone. Leave the religion alone. Leave the country alone. I haven't seen O'Malley cross that line. So yeah, he dresses, showy and how he does his pink this, that. That's his style. I mean, as a fighter, I respect him immensely. He's got great coaching. Welch is a great coach, from what I see. He examines the fights. He knows what he's talking about, and he gives his fighters some great advice. And so from that aspect, I think it'd be a great matchup. A great matchup.
Do you think Umar is ready to face someone of that level, a championship level, at this stage of his career? Obviously, he looked very good. He looked very good in the 5-round fight against Cory, but championship fight, it's a different game, right?
Yeah, championship fights are different level, and we're already prepping for that. We were prepping him for this 5-round challenging fight because after practice Umar's fights, I'd go in there and I'd talk in his ear. I'd tell him, this is the championship round. This is where you have to suck it up. This is where you get tougher. Khabib's doing the same thing, so if you watch the fight, you can see me in his ear saying, this is what we're talking about. This is where the champion comes in. This is where you go. And then I go, this is where you dominate. So, but I was doing that throughout camp. It just didn't happen like we were doing it that day of the fight. No. I've been doing it from the very beginning of camp, telling him what I need him to do, putting his head up high. Don't let your opponent know your weakness. Do not show any weakness. All that, expose him, etc., etc. So those are all the things we were working with Umar during training camp. So come fight night, what people saw was an example of what we were working months before the fight.